Hello friends, this is Dr. Ranjit Singh with you once again. Today we will discuss farce as a type of comedy. In theatre, a farce is a comedy that aims at entertaining the audience through situations that are highly exaggerated, extravagant, and thus improbable. Farce is also characterized by physical humor. Physical humor basically refers to physical comedy because physical comedy is also a form of comedy that focuses on manipulation of the body for a humorous effect. In physical comedy, you can have slapstick like Mr. Bean, clowning, mime, physical stunts, or making funny faces, etc. etc. Thus, farce is also characterized by physical humor, the use of deliberate absurdity or nonsense, and broadly stylized performances. It is also often set in one particular location where all events occur. Farces have been written for the stage and film. Now let's discuss about the origin of the term farce. The term farce is derived from the French word for stuffing. It means to stuff. This word has been derived in reference to improvisations applied by actors to medieval religious dramas. Later on, this form of drama were performed as comical interludes during the 15th and 16th centuries. The oldest surviving farce may be The Boy and the Blind Man. It was written around 1266. This type of comedy, known as farce, originated in Greek theatre. In ancient Greek theatre, audiences were often treated to a short satire play that was performed in between tragedies. These plays used very crude but very effective forms of humor, especially sexual jokes and physical comedy. The idea was to let the audience get some comic relief in between the difficult emotional experiences of the tragedies. So modern farces probably evolved out of those satirical plays. Hence, farce is a type of comedy designed to provoke the audience to a hearty laughter, belly laugh. This employs a highly exaggerated or caricatured type of characters, puts them into improbable and ludicrous situations, and makes free use of sexual mix-ups, broad verbal humor, and physical bustle and horseplay. At times, the sustained brilliance and bit of dialogue helps to achieve the comic effect in a better way. Human beings are presented as helpless victims of their bodily urges, hungry for food, drink, and sex. Characters in farce are usually single-minded, seeking to satisfy their desires with reckless desperation. Little emphasis is on the depth of characters. Thus, comedy, which focuses on physical humor or slapstick, is called farce. Plot complications, mistaken identities, and miscommunication makes it more effective. Facial expressions and body gestures bring farce to life. Farce is effective in performance than as literature. Comedians like Charlie Chaplin and Keaton became masters of farce. Actually, the basic purpose of a farcical comedy is to evoke laughter. We usually find farces in theatre and films, and sometimes in other literary works too. In fact, all of these forms combine stereotyped characters and exaggerations to create humor. Although a farce may appear only to be funny, They often contain deeper implications on account of the use of satirical elements. In terms of plots, farces are often incomprehensible. Hence, the audiences are not encouraged to follow the plot in order to avoid becoming overwhelmed and confused. Moreover, farces also contain improbable coincidences and generally mock weaknesses of humans and human society. In fact, farcical humor appeals to some of our most basic instincts. People falling down, absurd behavior, outlandish situations. All these things make us laugh for reasons that are somewhat mysterious. And yet somehow the reasons are universal. Everyone knows. Everyone can recognize the comedy of a farce. Farces are also popular because they develop in a way that seems more or less realistic despite the fact that the results are highly improbable. Now let's take a few examples of farce in literature. The Importance of Being Earnest, a play written by Oscar Wilde. So Oscar Wilde's play The Importance of Being Earnest is one of the best verbal farces. Just like a typical farce, this play contains basic elements such as mockery of the upper class, disgraceful physical humor, absurdity, and mistaken identities. This drama also demonstrates these features of a farce. The most absurd thing in tale is the fact that Miss Prism, she commits a blunder. What she does? In fact, she leaves her manuscripts in the pram and puts her child into the handbag. So this all leads to boisterous laughter for the audience. Now the next example of farce is a play written by William Shakespeare, The Taming of the Shrew, a very popular comedy. In this Shakespeare's play, The Taming of the Shrew, the farcical elements are manifested in terms of characters, plot, and particularly the writing style. The play contains stereotype characters that are typically farcical in nature, such as Catherine. She is an excellent example of the farcical character. Although Catherine is a stereotype and a boisterous shrew, shrew refers to a woman who is argumentative, nagging, and ill-tempered. Shakespeare portrays Catherine as an individual needing sympathy because Bianca is the favorite child of her father, Baptista. So as the plot is concerned, Shakespeare develops the plot to look like a situational comedy. Though the subplot is romantic, both the main plot and the subplot move around an idea of the favoring father, whom his daughter and her lover outwit. In terms of the writing style, Shakespeare has used three basic comic techniques to produce humorous effects, such as Kate's statements and her husband's replies, which demonstrate verbal humor. So all these three elements demonstrate this play as a farce. We can take one more example of farce. Oliver Goldsmith's comedy, She Stoops to Conquer. This is another example, very good example of farce or comedy of errors, as it contains multiple misunderstandings. It uses comedy of manners also, in which the author ridicules the manners of a particular society, specifically the upper class. She Stoops to Conquer includes several farcical elements, including themes, human manners, and even the plot itself. In the play, two Londoners, dwellers of London, search for Mr. Hardcastle's home. When they find, they are deceived to believe that they have reached in an inn, not home. Thus, they conduct themselves according to the situation. One of the gentlemen, Marlowe, he pursues Kate Hardcastle. However, she pretends to be a maid until he reveals his passionate feelings for her, and that he plans to elope with Kate. She, on the other hand, looks bawdy in her manners, as the gentlemen do not know the reality of the situation. They behave rudely with other household members. All such misunderstandings create humor and give farcical touches to this play. Then, one very popular play of postmodern literature, Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. You all must have read that. We find several farcical situations in Samuel Beckett's play, Waiting for Godot. However, most of these situations have deeper meanings than just their apparent meanings. For instance, we have a funny situation in which Vladimir and Estragon put on and take off their heads. Though it is a farcical situation, the aim is to tell the audience that the world of tramps has no significant actions and plays, except to do trivial things. Perhaps the most hilarious farcical situation occurs when the tramps test the strength of a string in order to hang themselves. The Estragon's trousers fall down to his ankles while pulling the cord, and due to string, the cord breaks. So these were the examples of farce. Hence you have known that farce is a literary genre and type of comedy that makes use of highly exaggerated and funny situations. Its aim is just providing entertainment to the audience. Farce is also a subcategory of dramatic comedy, which is different from the other forms of comedy, because its only aim is to make the audience laugh. It uses the elements like physical humor, deliberate absurdity, bawdy jokes, and drunkenness just to make people laugh. We often see one-dimensional characters in ludicrous situations. Hence, farce is a comic dramatic work using buffoonery and horseplay, and typically including crude characterization and ludicrously improbable situations. Farce is generally regarded as intellectually and aesthetically inferior to comedy in its crude characterizations and implausible plots, but it has been sustained by its popularity in performance and has persisted throughout the Western world to the present. Now I would like to recap a few terms that I used above. I used the term horseplay. So horseplay refers to a rough, boisterous play. Horseplay is a rough play in which people push and hit each other or behave in a silly way. Hence, horseplay is a rough, rowdy kind of fun. If you and your friends are jokingly pushing each other into a swimming pool, it's horseplay. Then I use the term buffoonery. So buffoonery refers to a behavior that is ridiculous but amusing. Hence buffoonery is foolish behavior that makes you laugh. Then I use the term slapstick. Slapstick is a technique, style of humor that is used during the performance to cause laughter and fun. So this style of humor involving exaggerated physical activity that exceeds the boundaries of normal physical comedy. This term arises from a device developed for use in the broad physical comedy. The slapstick consists of two thin slats of wood, which makes a loud slap sound when striking another actor, with little force needed to make a loud comical sound, and everybody starts laughing. So this is all about farce comedy, a type of comedy. Hope you must have got what actually farce means and how it differs from a normal comedy. So thank you very much.